So your monounsaturated fats are not essential. You do not need to consume them every day. You do not need to consume them in your diet, but your body can use them as a source of energy. And so an example that would be olive oil. Then we've got your polyunsaturated fats. These are known as essential fatty acids because your body cannot make them and you need to consume them in your diet. And these are known as like omega-3 and omega-6s. We're going to talk all about them, where they come from in your diet further on. And then we're going to talk about your saturated fats. So again, these are not essential. You do not need to consume them every day. Your body can function, they make them function perfectly fine if you're not consuming them. But they are a good source of energy, and they would be, examples would be like butter and coconut oil are good sources of saturated fats. So when it comes to fat, how much fat should you be eating? So 20% of your overall calories should come from fat. If you've no idea what 20% of your calories should be, go back to our calorie lesson, figure it out. It's all there, it's all explained, super simple. But of that 20% of your calories, it should be divided into a third. So of your fat content, a third of it should come from monounsaturated, a third should come from polyunsaturated, and a third should come from saturated fats. You always want to make sure there's awareness that you are eating a certain amount of omega-3 throughout the day, because omega-3 plays such an anti-inflammatory role in the body. So inflammation, we're going to talk about prostaglandins, and prostaglandins are hormone-like substances in the body that we cannot supplement, and we have to make them throughout the day as we need them. So they're made from different substances and they have different roles. So I'm just going to do an overview and then we're going to talk about the individual one. So your PG1 is either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory, and it comes from foods that contain omega-6. Your PG2 only promotes inflammation in the body, and it's arachidonic acid, and that is found in animal products. So meats, dairy, cheese, eggs, that's where you're going to find arachidonic acid. We need inflammation in the body, don't think we don't, but arachidonic acid will only promote inflammation. So wild or pastured meats do not promote inflammation like conventionally raised meats because they contain more omega-3 from the grasses, the hay that the animals have been fed. We'll talk more about that. And then your PG3 is from omega-3s, and that only reduces inflammation. Okay? So PG1s, these either promote inflammation or decrease inflammation. So the function of a PG1 is to help with blood flow. So PG1 helps to relax blood vessels, lower blood pressure, and keep blood thin, and helps prevent clots. So by preventing clots, you're reducing your risk of heart attack and strokes, because heart attack and strokes come about because there's a blockage, there's a clot, the blood can't get through, and there's starvation of oxygen within the system. You look to help decrease inflammation and the associated pain, and it also helps with insulin and the control of blood sugar. Omega-6s are known as GLAs, and they can be converted into arachidonic acid to promote inflammation, or they can be used as PG1s, which help to decrease inflammation. Okay. So omega-6s are found mainly in seeds and their oils, but you got your sunflower, your hemp, your sesame seeds, your pumpkin, your walnut, your corn, your soybeans. Other good sources that are actually used to regulate the female cycle would be evening primrose oil and borage oil and possibly blackcurrant seed oil. Omega-6s tend to be more saturated than omega-3s, and omega-3s spoil quicker than omega-6s. So it's a lot easier to consume omega-6s because they don't spoil as easily. But you just want to make sure that you are consuming some of these foods daily to make sure you are getting some omega-6 in your diet. PG2s. So these are it's omega-6 or arachidonic acid that's going to promote inflammation. So inflammation is needed as part of your functioning immune system. We need inflammation in the body. We need to be able to promote inflammation if something's going wrong so that the body can take corrective action. But we need to make sure that we can control it. And if you're in a lot of pain, it can be a sign that your arachidonic acid, your PG2s, are very high. So sources, as I said, are conventionally commercially raised meat and animal products. So your meat, your dairy, your cream, your cheeses. Squid is also high in PG2. So to decrease pain in the body, decrease your sources of arachidonic acid. It's that simple. And to increase anti-inflammatory, you're looking to increase your PG1s and PG3s and balance that out. Okay. You also want to avoid sources of like hydrogenated vegetable oils and deep fried foods because they're going to rob your body of your anti-inflammatory molecules, your EFAs. So we're going to talk about PG3s. With PG3s, your sources are your omega-3s. So your oily fish, your tuna, your mackerel, your sardines, your salmon, your grass-fed meats possibly. And then your plant sources are going to be flax seeds, chia, hemp, walnuts. Okay. So in the human modern diet, it's pretty much deficient in omega-3 because we don't eat a lot of fish. We don't eat a lot of seeds. Okay. Omega-3s generally aren't used as an energy source, but they're used to help promote health within the human body. So it's used to prevent stickiness in the blood, again, prevent clots and blockages, essential for proper brain function, support vision, control blood cholesterol and fat levels, and help to decrease inflammation and the associated pain with inflammation in your body. So signs that you're omega-3 deficient would be inflammation in the body, which usually presents itself as pain, joint pain, digestive discomfort, headaches, dry, aggravated skin. If you get your C-reactive protein level tested, that's your inflammatory test, that's going to be high. So that's going to be an indication that you're low in omega-3. Heart disease, cancer, these are all signs that your body's not controlling inflammation properly. So with your animal sources, like your oily fish, they go rancid pretty quickly. Okay, so you want to make sure that the fish that you're eating is fresh and not stinky. If it's stinky, that oil can be going rancid. With the plant version of omega-3, the problem is the conversion rate can be up to about 10%. It can go from 2 to 10%. So if you're eating chia seeds all day long, you're only ever going to get maximum about 10% of the omega-3 in that, but your body has to convert it. And the conversion process is really hard in the body, and you need to make sure you've got like vitamins B6, B2. You need other nutrients to make sure that conversion happens, and if your body's low on that, that conversion is not going to happen. So this is why I would suggest a fish oil supplement, because you're going to get it in its usable form. So take an animal that goes out and eats grass. So let's say the grass is high in omega-3. The animal goes out, eats that plant. And then it takes that grass and it converts it into omega-3 in its meat. And then we eat that meat and we get the omega-3. But within the plant, if you're going to go out and eat a ton of chia seeds, our body needs to convert that omega-3 into more active form of EPA. And that's what the animal does for us. Like a chicken will do it, a fish will do it. They'll take the green food, they'll convert it, and they'll store it, and then we'll eat it. But with the plant, our body needs to be able to do that process, and we're just not efficient at it. So that's why you need to make sure that you are aware of how much omega-3 you are eating throughout the day and the sources that you are consuming it from. So the ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 has swayed the opposite way, because omega-6 is really good to use in processed foods, refined foods. But because omega-3 goes rancid so quickly, you don't find it in conventionally processed foods. So the ratio of omega-6 is getting out of control, and it's getting way higher than it should be. So ideally the ratio should be about 2 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3, but it's generally around 40 to 1 now. So that's going to promote inflammation because there's a lot more omega-6 than there is omega-3. So you want to be aware of how much omega-3 you are consuming in a day. So all inflammation needs to be investigated further. So why have you got inflammation in your body? So the questions you would look for is it food related? Is it physical stress? Is it like weakening of your gut lining, and a food substance then becomes an aggravating factor? Body then thinks it's a foreign invader and it tries to take over. So the questions you need to look is your diet high in rancid, processed, refined fats? Is your body lacking the nutrients to control inflammation? And these would be your omega-3s. Is your omega ratio off? Are you having way higher amounts of omega-6 to omega-3? Is your diet high in sugar, low in fiber, low in minerals, and low in omega-3? Have you or your parents ever stuck to a low-fat diet for an extended period of time, now or in the past? So there was a big craze Low-fat diet, keep your calories down. But the problem is that fat contains your A, D, E, and K, your vitamins. They're fat soluble. You need to eat them in foods that contain fat. You will not get them otherwise. It contains omega-3, omega-6. So if you've had a diet that's very low in fat or high in margarine or processed fats or hydrogenated fats, the quality of the fat you're eating is going to be highly affected. Is your diet high in inflammatory causing arachidonic acid? As in, do you eat a lot of animal foods? Again, is your diet high in processed sugar? And is it related to toxin in the foods that you're consuming causing the inflammation? So is the food very toxic and that causes issues within the body? That was food, and we're going to talk about movement. Are you sedentary? Are you overtraining? There is a difference. Overtraining is going to stress the body. The body finds it hard to deal with, hard to recover. And you have an impact injury that was never repaired properly. As in, did you sprain your ankle and just keep going and it's never had the chance to heal properly? Lifestyle. So is your inflammation stress related? Are you currently housing more fat than you should be? Fat cells promote inflammation in the body. So if you're carrying excess weight, you're going to have more inflammation in the body because your body is actually just naturally producing more inflammation. Are you supporting your digestive function? Are you chewing your food? Are you sitting down to eat your food? Are you preparing your own food? Are you salivating before eating? These are all questions related to digestive function. Again, I've got a whole digestive lesson, but the better your digestive system is functioning, the better use of the nutrients that you have consumed, and your body's going to be able to use them better to help you deal with inflammation. And are you getting enough sleep at nighttime? Are you resting? Are you recovering?